If you are enjoying this podcast and other podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon Shop. Awesome t-shirts and mugs from your favorite shows so you can tout your podcast pride, all while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. And make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com and get your dragon swag on.
Krista! Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Really? Because you seem a little...
I said I'm fine.
Okay, well, we all love you, so if you need to talk, we're...
She's fine. She's fine.
I'm fine.
Hey, everybody. So do you ever ponder about the future? Like technology, what it's going to be like in the next 10 years, maybe. Did you know that technology is advancing so rapidly that in the next 10 years, it's going to be more than it has in the last 50 years of technology? It is going to be insane. And it's scary. It is scary, but I still think it's so cool. It's just fascinating to me. Probably because, artificial intelligence, well, it's no match for my natural stupidity. Okay, let's just put it that way. My guest on the show today is Taryn Southern. You guys know her. She's a YouTube star. She's a singer. She's a content creator. But her new album, which is I Am AI, is the first record to be entirely composed and produced with AI. And she has done so much stuff. She's such a badass. I just love her. And we talk about all of this within the context of the book Homo Deus, which is A Brief History of Tomorrow by Yuval Noah Harari, who's the same guy that did Sapien, A Brief History of Mankind, the podcast that I did with Ben Glebe. So that was the past, and this one talks about the future. I'm going to play some of Taryn's music on the podcast as well today. I hope you enjoy it. I cannot wait to hear your comments, and that's it. Yay, Taryn!
Yay, Krista! It's been a little while.
I know. How long has it been? It was Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh. That was 3 or 4 years ago?
I think it wasn't 4. That
3
just
years.
Sounds crazy.
It must have been 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It might have been 4. No, it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, I know. I think so. 4 just sounds really a long
But
time.
maybe 4 this November.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. It would be.
Yes,
God,
I
where does
know.
the time
I
go?
know.
And why am I not a better person already? No.
Growth happens in slow, gradual ways.
Yes.
We cannot always sense them.
I'm ready to skyrocket now. I'm ready. Oh my gosh. So, Halloween is like right around the corner, and I just got a really cool unicorn.
It's very cute. She has a
Inflatable
unicorn
costume.
onesie costume.
We don't know
inflatable.
if it works
It's a
yet.
It's very cute.
I don't know, but I'm gonna. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna
Are
happen
you
with
big
that.
into Halloween?
It's my favorite.
Oh.
It's my favorite. I love it so much. I have a couple of different outfits. So I'm not doing any slutty outfits this year. I'm doing all stupid ones.
But that's so fun. I mean, and you'll be warm in your unicorn.
I think so. I think so. I think
It's
so.
always the risk with a slutty outfit.
Okay, I want to talk about it. Is I love the slutty outfits are always so fun, but I always just feel it's like shooting fish in a barrel. You know what I mean?
Yep,
No.
yep.
I'm like, it's just stupid. There's
Everybody
like
looks slutty, so it's
everybody,
not even,
just be. I want to be different. I want to
be slutty on every other day.
I am slutty on the inside. I don't need to be slutty on the outside. Come on. Yeah, I'm so excited to do this with you because you've been working your ass off and you've created something really freaking cool. And I want you to tell everybody
thank you.
about what you're doing because it's super rad and nobody's doing this.
Oh, thank you, Krista.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks ago, I released my album, which I composed using only artificial intelligence. So it's a pop album called I Am AI, and 8 tracks, 5 different AI software was used to make all of the music. I wrote the lyrics, I wrote the vocal melodies, but it was really a collaboration between myself and our non-human Android friends.
How did it? But how did I think that's amazing. Which is amazing what we're going to talk about, the book that we're going to talk about, Homo Deus.
Yeah.
Which is exactly part of what this whole thing is about. That we're going to get into all of it, but
much.
I mean, it's just it's fascinating. When you were, I mean, you had this whole platform on YouTube forever, and you did all of this stuff, like super, like putting all kinds of things out there. And then what happened? Like with YouTube, things just kind of went to a different place, right?
Yeah. I mean, things have changed drastically over the years. My first YouTube video I posted in 2007. So it was so early. It was so early. Back then, people were not using YouTube as a
you
platform
got in at the beginning,
for showcasing their work. It just wasn't the thing to do. And I worked for an actress for a little while in TV and film until about 2012, 2013. And it was funny. Like I'd be struggling, of course, to get work. And meanwhile, I could post a video on the side once a year, and it would get a bunch of views and attention. And it was the first time in my life that I saw like a huge opportunity to be seen,
right?
You know, and put out my own material, and
it worked exactly the way that you intended for it to do.
Yeah.
You were in at the right place at whatever was guiding you. You were in at the right place in the right time.
Absolutely.
A lot of people tried to do things like that, and they didn't, you know, they weren't able to do it quite as successfully as you did, which is,
thank you.
You're welcome. But this is what's really cool about what you're doing now with this music and the way that you've put it together. Has anybody done something like this?
So there actually are a number of people who have been composing music with AI for a long time. It's actually been around since the 1970s, AI.
Okay.
But it's so funny. It really kind of comes down to nuance and definition, but I just always like to acknowledge that there are plenty of people out there who've been playing around with this stuff for quite some time. The way that I've used it, I don't believe that there's a solo artist who's ever composed and produced an album
looked it up.
using
There
AI.
was nothing. I didn't see anything.
And it's possible that somebody has, but to this extent, no. In terms of all of the music, the notation, the instruments that you're hearing, that's all artificial intelligence. So no human is replaying an instrument that an AI wrote a musical notation for.
Yeah.
Which is what it's been commonly used for in the past.
Time goes by, moves so fast. Some like change, I like the past. Can't keep up, just trying to breathe. Running out of things to believe. I wanna go back to the good old days when things were simple. Can't wind the clock back, but the truth is, I don't wanna go with you. I don't wanna go with you. Will you leave me behind? I wanna stay in this moment, and I've made up my mind. 2 to 1, stuck in between what I want and reality.
I'm so excited about it because what do you want to do? You think this is going to, what do you want to do with it? Like, how do you even go on tour?
I know. I actually would love a band of robots, a band of happy robots to go on tour with me.
Me too.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh my God, it would be amazing.
And they don't ever get tired.
They don't get tired.
So you can work on your sleep schedule.
Yeah, I love it. They just do what they just do what they're going to do.
So I think one misconception that some people have about the project, or maybe something that they don't realize, is this whole project began as an experiment for me. Like, I had heard about people using AI to make music,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so fascinating. How do they do it? I have to know. And so I contacted a couple of these software companies that were being written about in the New York Times. It was an article in the New York Times I'd read. And I said, I want to learn how you make music with AI. Can you guys show me? And so a couple of these companies wrote me back, and I started playing around with it. And at the time, I had a grant from YouTube to make this funky experimental virtual reality series about the future. And so I thought, well, I'll make all of the music for the series using AI.
That's what I was thinking.
So
right.
that's how it came about.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
okay. That's so cool.
Yeah. And then as I started playing around with it, I was shell-shocked. because I've made music as a hobby my entire career on YouTube. That was always kind of like something I did for fun for a lot of my YouTube videos. But I always had to work with producers because I'm not a musician. I'm a songwriter. So I write them. I can hear the music in my head and I can write the lyrics, but I have to work with someone to bring the vision to life. And sometimes that collaboration works really well. And sometimes that collaboration with another human is really frustrating and expensive and difficult to schedule and all of the things that people don't think about in the process of making art.
Right.
So here I am with this piece of software and I'm getting much better at using it and I can actually make music from scratch all by myself. And I was like, all right, I have to make an album with this. This is unbelievable. And then I started bringing in other technologies to learn how they worked because they're all so different. And that was...
You're so smart.
Well, I just, you know what? I'm not. I'm curious. I'm just curious. I like.
Yeah.
I really like learning.
Through. Do you know you have follow through?
Oh,
do you know what I mean? That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, like a lot of people talk about wanting to do things like that, but you actually did it, and you did it, and it's amazing, and you're amazing. I'm so excited for you. Like this is a whole new world. You know,
it is a whole new world, and I do think, that we will see a lot of people picking up some of these tools very soon and using them to not just create music, but create all kinds of things. And a lot of people, when they hear me say that, their first reaction is, wait, why would you want the AI or the robots doing that? Because it takes away the human creative element. And I would have thought that to be true until I started working with it. And you realize that there's a unique creative process for every kind of, like any creative field has its own unique creative process. It'd be like my process of working with AI would be very similar to that of a director of a film or an editor. I'm giving the AI a ton of direction. I'm inputting data that I want it to learn from, and then I'm editing all of the raw material into something I find beautiful. So it is highly creative. It's just not. It's just not the same process as making a music as a musician, and so neither one cancels each other out. They're just different.
Yeah,
just different. No, but you would never say an editor is not creative, right? Like if you have a bad editor versus a good editor on a film, it's like night and day difference.
Sure. Oh my God, an editor can make or break the movie. Absolutely. I've had some. I've known I've done a better job. You know what I mean? In a scene, I'm like, wait a second.
You're like, that editor did not have the rhythm.
No, but it's true. But it's like that. Everything that you're saying, putting it all together. I think that's the part where it's fascinating to me because I am so. The mic dropped on this fuzzy thing. I'm so not techie skilled. When it comes to any of that stuff, I'm just missing a chip. And being able to sit down and, like you said, looking at the raw footage, putting it in, and putting data into the thing. These are things that don't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like I don't get it. But I want to. Can I come and watch you do it?
Absolutely. Anytime.
I want to. Okay. I want to come and watch you
make
do
a little song together.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Oh my God, I'd be so excited.
Maybe for your podcast.
That's what I was gonna say.
A little ditty.
Yes, let's make a ditty. Oh my God, I'm so. Which also brings us into when I asked. So when I asked you what book you wanted to do, you want to do Homo Deus, which is, say the guy's name again.
Yuval Harari.
I got it wrong.
No,
he also
okay.
did.
It's a tricky name.
My friend Ben Glebe we did Sapiens, and it was one of my favorite podcasts. I got so many things. So my listeners loved that one so much.
Really? Oh, I'd love to hear what Ben has to say about Sapiens.
Oh my gosh, you listen to the podcast. Anybody out there, you want to go back and listen to it. So Sapiens was before.
Sapiens
it's like the
history of
humankind.
Yeah, history of humankind.
And then this one
is the history of tomorrow.
It's the history of tomorrow, which is so. I mean, and there's a lot. I made notes on it last night. Like
it's so funny. You'll be more refreshed than I am because I read the book a year and a half ago, but it so inspired everything I'm doing right now, the album, and I've also been making a documentary on the future of man and machine.
Oh,
so
wow.
those two things really were born out of, I mean, I think to some degree a curiosity around things that were that I was seeing happening in the news, and just hearing a lot about AI, hearing a lot about medical neurotransplants, and then I started working on this documentary, and now I'm so immersed in the world. But it would be hard for me to tell you what I remember specifically from the book versus what I've picked up as a result of having read that book.
With the neurotransplants, you mean they're doing AI things for the brain and stuff for brain?
Not with AI, but,
okay.
but brain chips that are stimulating various parts of the brain to do all kinds of things. Everything from alleviate Parkinson's symptoms to
really.
Oh yeah.
And is that I'm like asking all these questions, but is this like are stem cells involved in this as well? Like
not with the brain chips themselves, but there are also stem cell treatments happening right
There's
now,
like
simultaneously being injected in the brain for similar.
I was going to go
problems.
and do these things. There's a place where you can actually, it's kind of like getting your eggs frozen. You can actually go and
Stem cell freezing.
Yeah,
I did it.
You did your stem cells.
You're going to have to go to the company that I went to because they're great.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God, okay. I
was going to plug them and now I can't remember. I'm so tired. I slept like 5 hours last night. So
no, I'll
if I
put
have
that
brain
in there
farts,
because that's something I'm looking to do.
I did a YouTube video about it. So you can
oh my God. Okay. Well, we'll find it. We'll put it in. We'll put it in there.
Forever Labs.
Okay.
There we go.
Forever Labs. Okay. So anybody that wants to do some stem cell freezing.
Yeah. They take it out of your bone marrow from your hips.
Yes.
That's not exactly the most pleasant experience, I will tell you. But
well, and another thing too, just so you know, I don't know if they do this as well, but for people, not that I've done a liposuction or whatever, but they will take it from different surgeries. Yeah, from like different liposuction things, they'll take the stem cells from your fat and you can save that. So I always thought to myself, if you had some weight to lose and then you just wanted to do some, it's like you get
they say, why not?
You get more bang for your buck.
That's right.
Is all I'm saying.
Adipose stem cells, which are the ones in the fat, you can't use for certain parts of the body as
the ones
as
from
widely
your
as
bone
the
marrow.
one. Yeah, the bone marrow, it's better stem cell because it's highly protected. It's in
It's in
a
your
part of the body
marrow.
that does not. It's where your youngest stem cells will be.
This is amazing. I'm so excited. The fact that I even wanted to do that. I've just been having like some different health things going on, and I was like, you know what? I just need to do it now and get it done.
Because once they're frozen, they're forever frozen.
And then I want my son to do it too, just in case anything with him. He's 21, perfect.
Very smart.
So it's really great. Okay, wow. Okay. Not only am I going to get to go watch you play music, we're going to make a ditty for my show. I'm going to go get my stem cells frozen. I like this.
Yes.
We're only 20 minutes in. It's great. So
many plans.
I know there's so many things to do.
So many freaky high-tech plans.
So yes, and one of the things that he talks about in all of this, which talking about how I'm reading my notes right now, but about just how they think how AI, how computers are going to take over the world. And, that was a big thing. And I don't know that that's such a bad thing, but do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there are certain things for sure. I would love to have a robo boyfriend. I mean, I think I already do.
Given our conversation
no feelings.
Earlier.
Yeah. Like the one I just had was kind of like a robot anyway,
There we go. So you might as well have one that's a little.
Yeah. Like that one that actually I can program it to say, I love you. You're beautiful.
Yeah.
I love you. No, that's all the time.
Really, really funny.
Yeah, I could do something.
I love that you're so open to this.
Yes.
It's great. You'll be ready and primed.
But I wonder, it's kind of like, I will be. But I wonder if we could do something, where we cover them in flesh so they look completely,
have you seen some of
Terminator.
have you seen some of the latest sex robots that have come out?
No.
It's crazy.
Really?
It's
so I just need a sex robot.
It's borderline. I mean, we're getting close. We're getting close to that point where they look real.
Really?
Yes. So have you seen Sophia the robot?
No.
I mean, she's a little bit scary, but I did an interview with her on my YouTube channel as well, and I met her in Portugal. And if you were drunk at a bar, you could easily have a conversation with her and think that she's a real human.
Wow. That's, you know what?
You have to be really drunk.
Well, that's what they say about, like transvestites. They're like, you look for the Adam apple. What do you look for with the robot?
Right. Well, with the robot, it's just the motion isn't quite there.
That she could just be,
it's just ever so slightly
on drugs.
Facial. Yeah, exactly. She just looks like she took a little too much meth.
Yeah, I was going to say meth. Like, she's just like, I don't know what.
Yeah, exactly. She took too much Adderall before she went out that night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
but
my
we're
God.
getting there. We're getting there. And I mean, this is all I think about. And I think to some degree, because I've been working on this documentary now for 2 years, I've been so exposed to these ideas for a few years that I'm not really shocked and I'm certainly not upset by any of it. But I think the things that I used to find terrifying or scary, I've now settled into.
Yeah.
And in some ways, Krista, I'm like, can we just get there already? Because there's some really, really shitty stuff that happens every single day that we think is just ordinary life that the AI could do better, that would open up so much space for us to do the things that we're actually good at.
Well, right. I mean, that's the thing. I don't think it's such a bad idea. It's scary and weird to think about, but then you think of the bad robots, that come in and then you're just like,
I'm more scared of the bad humans.
I know, but who programs them?
Yeah,
like
that's
then
true.
you have like the underground
humans running the bad robots.
Of course.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Then we need Iron Man. We're like, where are you? Like, what the fuck? Oh my God. We already have, so the Tesla is like crazy computer car. We have all of that stuff in this. So the thing was, humans, I think what he had said in here, I think I just made little notes. Like he was like, humans won't rule forever. And that made me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Now, when I think of AIs doing work that humans could do, then you go, oh, well, that's going to take away jobs from people. I'm not sure that I feel good about that either. But then, like you were saying, maybe, I don't know. I mean, who wants to be in a coal mine? You know what I mean?
Right. And I mean, and I'm sure that there's a strong argument that we could end up going through some very highly uncomfortable period where a lot of people suffer as a result of a transition.
There has to be.
So I mean, right? And that's happened with every major transition, the Industrial Revolution, the transition out of serfdom. People lost a lot of jobs that were bad jobs, in order to progress to the next stage of humanity and enter the Renaissance. But like, now we look at this period and we might see a ton of people lose jobs, and that's awful. And we have to figure out what to do. But at the same time, maybe to some degree, it'll force us to not be so focused around this notion that everything we are and our entire identity is built around what we do, which is currently Western civilization's entire there's sense of purpose. And maybe it's as cost of living goes down because we start creating better technologies that allow for everything to be cheaper, and the shared economy and everything that's happening just with Uber, right? Like younger kids aren't even owning cars anymore. It doesn't make sense.
I know.
So with all of that
even
stuff
older
happening,
people aren't owning cars anymore. Like I have friends that are like 37 and they don't have a car.
Like, I'm over it.
They're done. They don't have to pay insurance. They just do Uber.
You don't have to worry about accidents.
They got on the Uber thing a long time ago where they were giving like the flat fee. They're set for life. Like it's like $10 rides no matter where you go.
No way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I want to be grandfathered into that.
I know. Krista, what do we do?
I don't know. I've asked.
Apparently
there's some kind of a lottery thing that you can do, and I don't know when it happens, but should we hit the Uber place?
Yes, we should.
Can we make them a
Come
ditty?
on, Uber. Maybe they can sponsor your podcast.
Yes. Oh my God, that would be amazing. I would love that. We'll just, that would be great. I'll make everybody get really drunk and then they can have their, do you want any wine? I have wine.
You're so sweet. I'll probably take some.
Okay, I'll give you some
in a hot minute.
Yeah, I'll give you some in just a minute. I'll give you some in a minute.
I'm never one to turn down
you're
wine.
Like, no, not at all. Supply and demand. Let's see. I wrote down humans won't rule forever. What made humans so powerful? Supply and demand. Yes. Okay. I said supply and demand. I think what that was regarding was it was going through the history of how the animal torture. I think it was like going into like how we all eat meat. Mm-hmm. We all do all this stuff, and basically, then we have pigs and chickens and everybody, all the animals are being tortured, and nobody really thinks about the animals. They don't care. They don't care where it came from.
That's right.
They just, I said, we are selfish assholes.
No
one wants to see the abuse. They just want to sit and get the delicious meal served to their likings. Kind of like, okay, might have been drinking wine last night. Kind of like having sex with a hooker. She might give amazing head, but chances are she has herpes.
That's brilliant, Krista. I love that you just compared veganism, or I'm sorry, the opposite of veganism, animal eating being animals.
Just being aware. And I said,
as sex with a hooker.
I said, maybe do some homework is what I'm telling people.
Yeah. But even people who are aware, I mean, how how many people do you know have seen a documentary or two and have seen the cruelty? But and I'm not,
It's
this
so
is not
hard.
even a judgmental thing. It's just, this is what humans do. But we lock off on anything that we don't have to stare at every single day. And if we don't see the effects right in front of us in our own
Exactly.
communities, in our own families, we don't care. We don't care about the
No.
issues. We don't care about the,
I feel like, I feel like we definitely want to more. I think I got mad at this. I was intrigued at this in his other book, Sapiens, as well, because he mentioned this before too. And it, again, obviously now when he's talking about now, it's true because it is out there more. It is. People are more aware, and but
they
it
are.
is
And the
supply
awareness
and
does
demand.
help.
And it does, but the supply and demand is still out there. So they're going to have to keep making more, but I don't know. I don't know.
But imagine if you had an interface that allowed you somehow to see or to visually feel or to sense every time there was whether it was something you were eating on your plate, like what the chain reaction was of that behavior, of that.
Holy cow.
Right? Like how would that,
No pun
would that
intended.
nudge people
I said holy cow.
to be better? Would that
Yeah.
nudge people towards
More compassion.
collective, compassionate
Collective
behavior for the
compassionism.
world? Right? Yes.
I like that. Right. But
Yeah.
would it? Yes, it would. It could
and
not.
that's, you can't do that without technology. And so in some ways, like this like version of the future we can all come up with is, it's easy to go very dystopic, and it's also really fun to think about all of the ways that the future will be so much better. I mean, every time people have looked back and said, wow, I can't believe people used to live that way. So I don't know why we would think that the future would be any different.
Well, exactly. And I want to make a point too, which I think is, for me, really important. When I hear people that didn't live in 1920 or the early 1900s, which who has right now? But when they talk
That'd be really
about
old.
right, when they talk about, that's not the way, like my grandfather did this, that times were changing. There was abuse. It wasn't, the supply and demand wasn't up so high. We weren't having to do the things that we had to do. Things kept getting worse and worse and worse. The more that the population got higher, the more the supply and demand got. And I do like this idea, but it's funny because even when people talk about their growing up and what it was like in the 80s or the 70s, it's not where we are now. Things are so much different. Yeah. And I don't know. It's just like things are a lot different, and they're about to get even more different.
Very
but
different.
I like the idea of having that collective consciousness
And being able to tap into it in a way that's a little bit more visceral than what we have. A lot more visceral than what we have
people are
now.
just scared. And I think people like to call LA a liberal bubble.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I think that there's I think the liberal part of it also has a lot to do with all of this open thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this. I like it because it's exciting. It can get really scary, whenever you think about, how advanced things are getting in the world and what that means, and are we digging our own grave?
Mhm.
That kind of a thing.
And by the way, we could be.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's no question that we could be. But there's also an argument, which of course no human likes to hear this, but this is kind of one of my favorite arguments. It's my annihilation argument, which is that if we end up destroying ourselves, maybe that's not the worst thing for the world.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
We haven't been super kind to planet Earth and to each other.
Right.
And if we bring it upon ourselves, we really have only ourselves to blame.
That's a beautiful way to look at it. And I agree with you. I know there's a lot of people that be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Why would you want to take out our own race? Well, that's not really exactly what it is. But
right. But
it's
you're
a
saying,
very Buddhist mentality.
You're saying let's
the
be
world will go
accountable.
on.
Yeah, let's be accountable. And if it's
and the world doesn't need us.
Yeah.
The universe doesn't need us here. I mean, we're a really beautiful species, but
yeah, look, there's some people that are needed more than others.
You
and you, my ex, he can go. Trump, he can go.
Yeah.
There's certain people that can go. They can just go.
Right.
Don't need you.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to go, just can you sit in something wet?
Yeah.
Like daily. That would,
Sit in something wet.
just sit in something wet. Just,
That's
just
great.
something super annoying. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. Just maybe sit in something wet or sticky. So let's see. I said, we've overcome famine and disease for the most part. I don't know why I made this note. It says, advanced tech stuff. It says we've overcome famine and disease for the most part.
Yeah.
And then I said, although polio is making a comeback.
That's true.
But we have, and I don't know where this is coming from.
No, I think I remember that quote that people are more likely to die of obesity or suicide now than of famine or disease.
That's right.
If you compare the numbers from even just 100 years ago.
That's exactly what it was.
So basically self-inflicted disease is more common.
That's it. It says more likely to die from obesity than hunger. That was one of the notes I made. That's 17 million Americans have tried ecstasy to live more happily. 17 million Americans. Is that just because Coachella? Me too. Is that just because Coachella and Burning Man are such a hit these days? Like, has everybody gone to a Fish concert? Wow, I don't know. I'm just kidding.
So funny.
17 million people.
Wow.
But happiness is a thing. Like we're all definitely, of course. I think we all do want to be happy. I think for the first time, the focus of being happy is as a nation, us coming together. My God, it's like, but there's it goes into a whole different thing. But I think everybody wants to be happy, because why wouldn't we? But I don't think that it's ever been as okay to be happy somehow. I don't know if that sounds even right.
What do you mean by that?
I'm trying to, because nobody's ever, it wasn't just to love yourself. Loving yourself was never as much. I know when I was growing up, nobody taught me, hey, love yourself. You have a connection with, you have a connection with yourself that is so much greater than anything. Like love yourself, self-worth. I wasn't taught in schools about the universe. I wasn't taught that there was this massive energy out there. I wasn't taught that I came here to be happy. But these days, these are things that I can talk to my son about, because I know these are things that in different books and different things that children are reading that are children's books, and they're learning about this infinite source of energy out there.
That's such a beautiful, I love how you just said that.
Thank you. But it's like, but it's okay to be happy, because before, I don't know. I think it was a little more shaming.
It wasn't part of our value system. I don't think. My grandparents, it wasn't about happiness. It was about, right and wrong and work.
Yes. And work and do this. And if you don't, then you're bad.
And honor.
And so happy. Yeah. And happiness didn't come as a right. And it's why we came here. So it's like, we're always going to experience this contrast and stuff in life. Because we go, oh, I don't want that. Now I know what I want. But I think somewhere in the subconscious, which is so crazy, we're stuck because it's like the feelings of the low self-worth or lack of confidence battle with what we're learning now. But I think the new generation that's coming up is going to have a completely different take on this. Then we have millennials, like, my son. Are you still? You're still considered a millennial. You are a millennial.
I'm on the cusp.
You're like Eliza.
I'm an elder millennial.
I had Eliza on my show, and
when I saw her show, her latest stand-up,
I was going to say.
Laughing.
So I was like, "Are you still considered a millennial?" I don't. Yeah, and
I'm an elder millennial.
Yes. Let me tell you about this thing called a sidekick. Remember that?
So good.
No, she said Snapchat. I think.
No, I think you got it.
I was it a sidekick.
Yeah.
I got a sidekick. Yeah. My son had a sidekick. If nobody out there has seen Elder Millennial, it's amazing.
So funny.
Taryn and Eliza are about the same age. They're right at the cusp of the millennialism, but they are both still elder millennials. But anyway, so my son is on the other side. My son is 21 and he is just learning, but imagine their kids. I don't know.
Yeah. And how woke they're going to be.
They're going to be woke.
So woke.
Oh my God. They're going to be so woke. I don't know. I'm just excited. I like sitting back, and I love sitting back and watching everything that's happening right now. It's kind of like when I look at the world, it's like I'm sitting here with a big batch of popcorn, just like eating
Right.
it, just like going.
Well, it does feel like a show.
Even
these days.
politically is like a little bit more like a horror movie
horror
for
movie,
me. But like
I
I'm
know.
like, I don't know if I really want to watch this
every
before
day,
bed.
the American
Yeah.
Horror Story, and it keeps playing, and it's reruns and new episodes every day.
I just yeah. I know.
I know.
But all whatever this is, we absolutely talk about collective consciousness.
And we will get through
We
it.
created that too.
We did.
You know, yeah,
We 100%
absolutely did. No matter where you want to go with it, it's still all the fears, all the stuff. It's all there.
Yeah.
I said, people seeking to understand humankind's history of progress. Oh, so this book, I think this book is, so the people that would like this book and the people, like anybody who I was saying, like people seeking to understand humankind's history of progress, which and technophiles wishing to learn more about the future, just anybody that wants to learn. I want to learn how to.
It's a really fun book.
Yeah.
It's like the most fun history book ever because it's not really
Yes.
a history book.
And also people that are technophobes that are scared to death of what's going to happen is a great book if you like that you know, whatever. If you're on
they
the
might feel a little more
opposite side.
secure, at least knowing what's going what might
Just
happen
what's
or
coming
transpire.
through. But I think, you
Mhm.
know, this is one of those books that is really interesting. He's really so talented, this author.
Yes.
And whenever he writes from, I agree with most of it. Like I agree with his point of view. Like if we were having like a really long meal and got to discuss this, you know, it'd be a nice meal, you know?
Yeah.
You don't know.
He brings together so many disparate themes, topics, and just like his breadth of knowledge is.
Well, one of my favorite things that he talked about, he was like, what is more valuable, intelligence or consciousness? And I thought that was really interesting. And then I was like, well, like modern science still can't explain what conscious is.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like when I think of conscious, it's like what's going on in my brain. It's all neurological and whatever. And subconscious is the same, but not really. But subconscious is the one that battles that.
Right.
That, you know what I mean? So
Primate and reptilian brain battling the mammalian brain.
Yeah, it's crazy. But whatever it is, it leads our lives and it creates our world.
Yes.
So I wonder with the AIs and with like the robots and all of these different things, like they don't have a subconscious. So you can just program them from everything that you know consciously is true and real and right.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go the other way and be a bad robot maker.
That's right. So fun. You went in so many places.
I
with
did.
this
I was
book,
all
Krista.
over the place. Well, I was so excited. And I was so excited that you're I
love
being
this.
such a nerd right
No, it's
now.
the best. I'm so excited that someone else is so thrilled about these topics.
Well, but
I don't get to nerd out with people very often.
Well, and the cool thing, but you're doing it with what you're working on right now, and you have the documentary, and it's all like you're living, breathing, everything in this. Do you know what
I'm
I
a
mean?
machine.
You're what? You're a machine.
I'm actually a machine.
Yeah.
I'm a robot.
Oh, I thought you said I'm meshing, and I
Oh.
was like, oh, no.
Enmeshing, it's a new verb
Yeah.
that describes
Yeah.
one that works with technology.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just trying to get. Yes. So anyway, I loved it, and I'm so proud of everything that you're doing.
Mm.
And I'm going to see if there's anything else that I want to say. Ooh, well, this was stupid.
No. What
but
was
it was just how. Did you know that? Did you read about how the scientists can make decisions for rats? And I didn't know this. They can actually program their brain to make
yes.
the decision, and then science tells us that it's this when really the scientist is the one that gave us that answer.
Right.
Jack, stop trying to jump up on the couch. Sorry, guys, my beagle. Come here, buddy. So whenever you're having, well, the rats did this. No, you programmed their brain, you jerk.
Yeah.
And then you're telling everybody in the scientific experiment that this is what happened. I mean, it could go either way.
I have to read that experiment.
Yeah, like whatever it is. I was like, and it said, he also talks about how the presidential election demonstrates human superiority. Okay. Why liberalism and nationalism are religions, which I thought was really interesting as well.
Yep.
Because it is
Capitalism too.
that any isms. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Religion is a belief and a code of laws, which is the same thing. Humanism is human experience. Look within ourselves. Liberalism is the dominant variant of humanism. So whatever these little notes were, I was really into this book, and I was
glad you enjoyed it.
I was having so much fun because we can all look at that and be like, oh, okay, like
it's fun to dissect ourselves.
Yeah,
like who are we really? How do we operate in this fashion? Why do we?
It just opened up my mind. I never really review a book. We usually get on here and we just we kind of BS back and forth about how this is a launching point for wherever we are in our lives. But what I think with this, because I'm not living this, do you know what I mean? So it's especially for me, it's all of these little things that I can like pop into my head and go, oh yeah, this is something that I haven't ever thought about. And it expands my mind. This book is going to expand your mind.
It's awesome.
That's what it is. That is a mind expanding book. That's it.
Yes.
That's what it is. Okay, so Jack, stop trying to jump on Taryn.
It's okay, Jack. You can if you want to.
No.
I like cuddle partners.
Where can people find you on social media?
Taryn Southern on all of the platforms.
Yeah.
Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, just my name.
Yeah.
TARYN Southern.
And then how can they download?
The album is everywhere. It's on Spotify and iTunes and all the places that humans
we played it all. We played a little bit already, but we're gonna play out with it right now.
Yeah. If you guys are interested in hearing what robot jams sound like, please take a listen. And I'd love to hear what songs are people's favorites.
That would be awesome. Yes.
Or
please
not
let her know.
favorites. That's fine too.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
And then, maybe you can let her know, you know what? I know that there's a robot made this music.
Exactly. Can they tell?
Can you tell?
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it. All right. Thank you for being on.
Thanks, Krista.
Okay, bye.
Magic, just feel the magic, magic, magic. As the time goes by. Magic, just feel the magic, magic, magic. You brought me back to life. Cheek to cheek, side by side. Whisper in our secrets as the stars fall across the sky. Heel to heel, hand in hand. Painting all our dreams and building castles in the sand. You make magic real and I get lost in time. You make me feel more alive. Alive, whoa, so alive. You got my attention by breaking all convention. Alive, whoa, so alive. Swept to a new dimension beyond my comprehension. Arm in arm, eye into eye. Lying here all night until the sun begins to rise. Hand
Dragon Wagon.